Live on Facebook.
Here we go. Okay.
Right.
I'm just going to refresh my Facebook here. How's everyone doing today?
Doing awesome.
Doing
Thank you
real
so much
good, yeah.
for having me here with you guys.
Okay. I don't see a pop up on my computer, but we're going to go ahead and we are going to assume that there we go, that we are now live. Thank you for joining, everybody. I think that let me put this in gallery view. There we go. We are live right now, and as most of my friends know, because this is on my Facebook page, I am a realtor. I'm also a real estate investor. I've been doing this full time now for 18 years. But what I do is I actually even have a coach, which a lot of people might think is a little bit different. But Don Jacks on the bottom, based out of California. He's actually been personally coaching my business and helping me to grow the team to help my clients. And we have a lot of fun. We're going to talk a little bit about that, what in the world is coaching, because some people think it's really strange. Brittany, I've known for a few years at an event up in Baltimore. She's a real estate coach. I think coaches people nationwide also, and an investor. So we're just going to do a little bit of chatting. We want to invite everybody who's watching this, please join in, ask questions, get involved. So it's something we want to start, doing on a more regular basis. So again, just everyone to jump on in. So who are you again? Anything you want to start? Otherwise, I'm going to ask you how your market's doing and the virus. But Brittany, Don, anything?
Sure. So we were kind of just chatting a little bit about it. The market here, with COVID and everything that's come in, thankfully the market's doing really well real estate wise. So we have low inventory, prices are going up. We do have a lot of buyers in the market, more so than properties are coming on the market. And then of course we also have the low interest rates right now. So in particular where I'm at, which is just outside of Orlando, a little bit northwest, I'm in an area where there's a little bit more land, there's a little bit more space, you can get a bigger property, which is really a lot of the things that, buyers are looking to getting. And we actually have a lot of people, there's that website, what is it, How Money Walks or Where Money Walks? Don or Mike, I don't know if you're.
I believe it's How Money Walks. Yes.
How Money Walks.
Yes.
And you can actually see where people are moving from into your specific area. And so in my specific area, a lot of people are coming from Orlando, which is the Orange County area, and then South Florida. And so that's actually where the majority of people are coming into my market.
Do you find people are trying to get fresh air and get out of the cities a little bit to join you?
Do I find people? Is that what you're?
Yeah. Do you find that people are trying to get out of Orlando, maybe get out of some of those areas to maybe where you are, where there's a little bit more fresh air?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. So Don, what are you seeing down there? How is the virus affecting your market? Is everyone panicking, and is real estate frozen and no one wants to buy, or what's going on?
So it's interesting you asked that a couple months ago. One of my neighbors asked me,
I remember that.
You guys are still selling real estate? How are you selling houses? And first of all, Mike, the virus, the pandemic, it's awful. Let's all just say that. And there's a lot of horribleness that's going along with that. What we've found here is our showings, like nationwide, for about a month, dipped down when the pandemic started. Everything froze, listings came off the market, showings were cut in half month over month, the first 2 months that I remember. And ever since, showings have gone back above where they were before the pandemic. Prices have actually continued to increase here in Southern California. And Mike, we're at such a low inventory spot right now. I mean, the city I live in, when I moved here, we had 200 listings. Then it became average about 50 listings. It was down to 10 listings, and now it's back up to 22.
We have a whopping 22. Neighborhood now, Lake Barcroft, there's a line out front and everyone's fighting for it. So I think what we're seeing, all of us are pretty much saying with the virus that people don't have to move. They want to stay. I think that the expression I find that's been born out of this that rings the most true is a home's never been more important. People that have been sitting on the fence to buy, want to buy. Interest rates are low, stimulating the economy. And so everyone is just gobbling up and just buying in everything that they can.
It is. And you mentioned it, if they need or want to move, right? If you don't need or want to move, I don't know if now's the perfect time to go up against 20 other offers for that house, right? If there's a need and a want, man, at least here in Southern California real estate, buy and hold is always a great strategy, as I'm guessing it is in both of your states also. But if you don't need to, and you don't have the stomach for 10 offers and that kind of bidding war, you might want to wait and see what happens over the next few months.
I'm not afraid of bidding wars. I mean, we do this all day. I've been doing this for 18 years.
Of course.
I'll roll my sleeves and I'll get to work. So don't be afraid. I really feel like the best coaches, the best realtors, and the ones that are coaching and getting coached, there's no doubt in my mind that our swords are the sharpest in the industry, and we are the best realtors in America. I really firmly believe that. And so what I think is interesting, and I emailed it to you all earlier, I get so busy doing this day to day, my lenders usually do this, but I sat down, I went to my own website, MikeKorin.com. In the bottom right, there's a mortgage calculator. And I looked, I mean, a little while ago, not too long ago, rates were 4.25%. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, they'll never get lower. Houses were $500,000. Your mortgage payment was $2,460. But as most people are seeing, if you're sniffing around the idea of buying, prices are higher. That same house might be $575,000. You might say, I don't want to buy on the top. Rates right now, it's pretty easy to get a 2.9% rate. Right. A VA buyer I worked with, I think got 2.25%. Scary. I'm refinancing now 2.5 on a 15. But anyway, my point being, values might be up 75,000 with a 2.9% rate. Your mortgage payment, which I think ultimately the buyers, what they care about, is $2,393. So again, with $500,000, your rate's $2,460, your monthly payment, or $575, your monthly payment is lower. Who cares? You know, I would get out there, roll up your sleeves and fight if you want to buy. Do not be afraid of bidding more. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm curious. I know you all coach me, but what have you all been seeing differently? And let's talk about sellers. You know, what have they been doing differently? What are we doing in the industry to pivot, to find them success, you know, with going virtual open houses for their safety, Matterport, 3D tours? Have you seen the industry change in the last 6 months?
You've definitely seen people up their game, especially within our community, right? Because we're connected with so many incredible real estate agents within our whole ecosystem, with coaching and thousands of agents everywhere. So of course, you know, now's the time where you got to really step up your game for sure. So being on social media, Don, I don't know if you were going to chime in there, but like you just said, virtual open houses, you were saying the Matterport, doing more video. It's not just the video. What is it? That people would do is the photo video tour.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen that.
That's a no-go now. You got to do the real thing. You know, you can't be just having photos just going in a video.
Matterports are neat because you can look out a window. I can look up at this big skylight above me and not even be in the house. I do have clients, and some people don't understand this because they're not talking to clients that they're high risk, and they literally have not been out of their house since this thing started. I think they're going to die. They need to sell. And one of our coaches, our tech coaches, she's based in Idaho, I think. She's been there for years, and she sells in California, and she sells 100% virtual. So she doesn't even see her sellers' houses, and her sellers are loving her, getting top.
And there's so much of that happening right now. We just closed on a transaction. Guys, I've never worked so hard as a realtor, or us as realtors, to keep people out of homes as we have over the last 6 months, right? With Matterport, with better technology and filming. And man, we had, 5,000 views online, 4 human groups go through and sold a $995,000 home. Nice. In a matter of days. But everything for this particular 75-year-old seller who was very COVID worried and concerned and susceptible. My listing appointment was 6 feet away in folding chairs in front of the garage with masks on. He didn't want to do Zoom, but we figured it out. We've had to make changes in not only marketing, but how we show property. Having what we call a sanitation station available with hand sanitizer and booties and glove and masks, having contracts that our buyers need to sign saying we haven't been exposed to the virus that we know of. And for what it's worth, our buyers must be pre-approved for most sellers to want them to come through the property now.
Through too. We're funneling
So
out.
the buyers we're working with must up their game also, because the sellers just don't want looky-loos through the home. Looky-loos, look online. There's plenty that we're doing now. We only want the serious buyers through the house.
Mhm.
So I don't know if this is a silver lining, but for the sellers, they know they have a higher quality of buyer coming through the house when we do it properly like this.
I love it. And guys, I want to say, anyone watching this is a wonderful opportunity. You all don't know how much I pay for each one of these 30-minute phone calls. We try to do it live. So if you're thinking about buying, you're thinking about selling, bring your questions. I don't even care. I think you should choose me. But if you don't want to, I don't care. Come and pick our brain. Maybe you're in a state we don't even serve. You're in Ohio. Hit us up. Let us know what we can do to help. So anyway, so back to what you were saying, Don, I think it's interesting. So I think we saw so much pivoting, and we found that we're selling houses now virtually, and we're getting top dollar. I mean, the market's up. My assistant, who's outstanding with me, I think about 5 years now, she's been with me 5 days a week. And it's always been, you have to work out of here. There's no way we can't. What happened? I mean, the first month into the virus, so many people in our industry furloughed themselves. Certain companies were cutting back, letting employees go, but all of us coached by the same lead coach, Tom Ferry. What did we do? Again, he said, keep your marketing, double your marketing. What you're doing in the peak of the virus is how people are going to remember you, set your brand. So we stepped it up. We're 100% virtual now. We have no paper in the office. I mean, I like to take notes, so I might do that, but it gets scanned, boom, my whole team can see it 5 minutes later. It's online, it goes to the shredder. There's no paper. Everything's just so systematized, and I feel like there's always a silver lining, to what's, a bad thing. There's a silver lining, everyone's just gotten sharper and sharper.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. It's interesting. So many people have had to pivot, right? But and we were asked and told to keep in communication with our clients in our communities, but our tone definitely changed, Mike. And I think you above all else know that. We had to keep in communication, but we're problem solvers. We're not looking to cause trouble. We're not looking to spam. Our marketing turned in to, hey, Mike, how are you? Brittany, it's been so long. How's the family, right? And I think there's been a lot of that, at least within our ecosystem, spreading out to the buyers, sellers, and community. I hope it's been felt. It's been felt from the inside, from Tom, through us coaches, to all of our clients. And I hope that we've raised a level in our industry, because I know we've been doing the Zoom stuff for 3 years now, but our industry, especially in California, modified so quickly. We adopted to the Matterport. We adopted to virtual showings. We adopted to how can we make this happen in spite of nobody being able to touch each other, talk to each other, go outside at some point in some states. So I'm more proud now to be a realtor than I have in the past, because we're all seen as just above used car salesmen some days. But now I think we've made a big difference in part of the 17% of the GDP in America. We've really stepped up, and I would love to hear what you guys have seen in your state about that.
I think I want to say about what you just said. It was interesting, but there's been a smile on my face because you mentioned Zoom. I had not used Zoom until this year. But we started.
That's true, Mike. That's true. You did not.
He goes, buy Zoom. It's going this way. Did I get the right way?
That's right.
Right reverse. Thank you, Don. I paid for 2 years of you. So
that's what I'm here for, Mike. My pleasure.
Zoom commitment. I think Zoom's here to stay. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I believed in coaching, and it's funny because a lot of people to this day, I think coaching now is starting to seem pretty mainstream. Maybe it's people I network with, whether it's a health coach, a life coach, a business coach.
Yeah.
People often will tell me, like, what, you have a coach? I got it. That's so weird. I mean, my first coach years ago, different company, they did also help me with the fundamentals, how to love on my clients, do what's called integrity selling, like how to be an advocate for them.
Yes.
Forget about being a superstar. Don't do that. How can we figure out what our clients' wants and needs are more on an emotional level? People think we're selling a house, we're making money. There's usually almost always an emotional thing behind this.
Right.
And even if you're investing, it's not emotional. That's not true. Well, what is the reason you need the money? So we teach how to ask the question, get to that emotions. Well, I grew up without money. I didn't have, my parents had difficulty feeding us, couldn't put us in the right schools. I don't want to do that. Well, boom. Well, okay, well, this is the strategy we should do to make sure your kids get into the school and you have comfort. So that's really neat. But with the coaching, it's interesting. One of the things that I heard, because I started coaching probably like 2006, 7, and they always said, get prepared because there would be a recession coming and a correction. I was a lot younger and newer in the industry. They said the best agents will thrive in a recession. And I didn't know what that meant. And the recession hit 2008. Most people know, I think that was a bomb for almost everybody in the world. This was a bad one, but that was a bad one. And it was my best year ever at that time. So I did really well. The coaching works. And this year, knock on wood, I think we're having the best year ever. What that means that we've helped the most people with the most success. So thanks to you guys. And also Don, it's funny, in 2000, last year, I'm looking for questions and comments, guys. Anyone that wants to talk to me or a real estate coach, these are 2 coaches in California and Florida. Please jump online, ask us anything about real estate, even investing. Brittany and I love talking about real estate investing. But I won the top in sales in our office last year. There's over 100 agents, and they were going to send me to Italy. Italy was the first country we saw on the news, so that didn't happen. But it's funny because it's mid-October, and I just got together my manager yesterday, and what she's going to be doing is taking me on a shopping spree to Bass Pro Shops to get all new saltwater.
Hello.
I was going to ask.
That is a leader who knows her team member. That is amazing.
She said she'll do whatever I want. And my initial thought was, I have an investment property. We're gutting it. Can you pay for some new wiring and an air conditioner? That I was thinking, I'm like, that is really not going to help motivate me. But
it's not sexy at all, Mike. Not whatsoever.
So next time when I'm fishing next summer, I'm going to be like, when I serve my clients to the highest level, it makes my boat this beautiful. So I believe in rewarding.
Love it.
It's going to be fun money.
Absolutely. Just for the record, the first conversation I had with Mike Brittney, you'll like this. I remember right where I was standing outside pacing of my old real estate office, trying to figure out this guy. And he said, Don, there's 2 things. This is super easy. Just help me do this. Serve a lot of people and fish more often. That's all I want to do, man. And I would say you're going the right direction.
Yeah.
I always accomplished that. When the Don topic comes up, everyone's like, he just sits there and tells you what to do all the time. But honestly, some of the most impactful moments, and that's 90%. But there's times, and Brittany's a coach. You've probably seen your clients do this. I'll show up and I will be, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, just not chipper, not exuberant Mike, and just rotten in a bad mood. And Don will keep the call short. He'll be like, get on a plane, fly to Honduras, go fishing. Don't call me until you get back. And I'll call.
I don't want to hear from you.
You're a new man. Let's get to work. Then we crush it for another quarter. So
that's right.
I love the coaching. Thank you.
So that must be
pleasure.
That must be when I see you on those like nice exotic trips that you've been going on. I haven't seen much obviously this year, but in the past.
EV for virus.
So yeah, exactly. So for the most part, I have to say most of those are Mike saying in the last 24 to 36 months, Mike saying we planned it. Up until that point though, it was a screw it moment, right? Lately it's been better, Mike. You planned all your trips. They weren't horrible. But yeah, there was the point where it's like
business grows, it's going to be predictable for myself.
Mike, please do your clients a favor and leave. Yes, that would be it. Hey, I actually have a question for you guys. It's 2020.
Yeah.
We're up against this election. We are in the lowest inventory any of us have seen, the lowest interest rates almost ever. Buyer demand's high, inventory is low. What's going to happen next year? What's in your market? What are the people saying locally? What do you guys think is going to happen?
Brittany?
So I actually did a video on this exact topic. But basically, as far as everything that you just explained, you have low inventory, high buyer demand, and low interest rates. And if we continue to see that, we should be expected to see a good year in the housing market next year.
Perfect.
That's just to sum it up.
I called this morning with a potential seller, old friend, and he doesn't know if he should sell now or if he should wait until February. And I told him the truth. Ultimately, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. If you've ever worked with me, you've heard me say that a million times. I could tell you today, it's hour by hour, it's day by day. We have, I find there's a lot of moving parts. We have 3 really big things coming. I mean, if this was a normal year, and as everyone knows, there's nothing normal about this year, we have winter coming. So typically, about a week before Thanksgiving, at least in Northern Virginia, until about, mid-late February, it's off season.
Mm-hmm.
We've had exceptions to that. Maybe this year be an exception because of low inventory, things will still be flying.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very, very exciting election.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a virus. I don't know. But what I do tell my sellers, if it gets better, I don't know. Could it get a whole lot better? I mean, it's pretty darn good. My sellers are getting above asking, as is. They choose the close date. They're getting rent back. They don't have to make repairs. Usually we do the paint, the lighting, those things, and we're good. Buyers, I mean, what are you waiting for? I mean, rates, I'm getting 2.5% on a 15-year. I think there's a certain point, if you're ready, go for it. But I also believe, I'm a realtor. I'm the first person to say a house is not going to solve life's problems. It also can ruin your life. It's like being in a bad relationship. So make the right decision. But if it's the right decision, talk to us. We'll coach you through it. Again, it's that whole integrity selling. Sit down, have an emotional heart-to-heart about what you're trying to do, what your goals are, and we can be a sounding board. Is this a good fit or not? Anyone that's working with me knows that's the way I work.
Yeah, that's it. It's always coming down to motivation, right? What's the reason why you want to move, right? We're going to be an advocate for selling to get into the market, to buy a place, of course, but it always comes down to the client's goals, needs. If you're going to buy in the next 6 months, why wouldn't you buy now? Because all the indications say it's a good time, right? Absolutely.
And pause again. I've not done many Facebook Lives, but the few I have done, I've always had comments, clicks, and likes. So I don't know if I'm doing this right. Kyla, can you comment that everything looks good? And if anyone is watching this, please bring us a question. What's going on? So back on the same topic, should people be buying? What is the crystal ball? Brittney, I think you also do some real estate investing. I started an investing company last year. And would you buy right now?
Well, again, that just goes down to, what our goals are and what we're wanting to accomplish. So I
buy an investment property that cash flows. Let me rephrase my question.
Would we buy an investment property that cash flows?
That cash flows after you properly run the numbers as an investor.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a numbers game when it comes to investing. So I think the thing is that if I don't really want to answer it like as if it's me because let's just say because where I'm at or where we are, we actually just closed on a property right before COVID hit. So we just closed early March. We closed on an investment property right before the whole lockdown and everything happened. So yeah, I mean, if we had money in our account and we're still looking to acquire more properties and it makes sense, of course, absolutely.
So have you all heard of the book? This is a rhetorical question. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
Discussion over at lunch today, actually. Funny you brought that up.
Anyone that's thinking about dabbling, wants to know more about real estate and investing, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you really can't beat it. I love Robert Kiyosaki and his knowledge. He loves to knock realtors. I take that with a grain of salt. But no, it's good. I mean, the whole concept is what is the difference between an asset and a liability? A lot of people think, oh, I bought a house, I bought an asset. Well, what happened in 2008? Was that an asset? That's right. You got to find the right fit. But when you buy a rental property that cash flows, what happens? If you're not working, it's still printing money for you. The tenant's paying it off. You need to know how to properly run those numbers, properly look at them. But I love that concept of assets versus liability. So you can buy a house that cash flows $150 a month, $500 a month. His big thing is he calls it the rat race. And, most of us in society are in the rat race. We're running, a paycheck, it gets spent, running, paycheck, it gets spent. And as realtors, I love our job. And that's funny, I want to say here in a second, but we're as good as our last commission check. And I love it. And thankfully, we're constantly, we have a funnel of clients, so we're helping. Right. But, I really believe I love the idea of owning real estate as well, too, because those can be, the ATM machines printing money for you when they're paid off if you do it right. And that's the beauty of it. You know, they're bulletproof. If the values drop, you buy a house for 100, easy numbers, 100,000 drops to 75,000. You didn't lose value. It's still making you the 150, $500 a month.
That's right.
So,
we were walking one today. I just pulled up the picture. I'm looking at it. We'll close on it this week. It's a $300,000 house that needs everything. Everything. $120,000 bids, Mike. But when it'll have a value of over 100,000 on top of that, how do you not, Brittney, when you have money in the bank and or when you find the right deal that comes across and pencils out, whether it's a flip or a hold, right? Whatever that is, the opportunities are there. It may be Robert Kiyosaki's really good at also talking 100 to 1, right? We're going to look at 100 opportunities to find the one in so many cases. And today more than ever, I think that's true, right? Because it is so frothy. You just have to be careful and make sure it pencils out.
Yeah. You know how to run the math until I properly.
You need to know how to run the math. That's exactly right.
The math is a little bit trickier. I think most people think that it is.
Yes.
I think also you can have cash in the bank. You can borrow money off people, structure that. We call that private money. So, you know, I'm looking for opportunities. People want to invest. I'll give you 8 to 10% on your money. These things are bulletproof. You know, if I set it all up, if I get hit by the milk truck and I'm gone, you end up getting a house, not 8 to 10%. So you can reach out to. But one question I wanted to ask, and I love this because I get this every few months, and I'm sure you have too, and as coaches, someone will reach out to me. They're like, Mike, I'd like to be a realtor. I'm really good at looking at the MLS. I want to work on my schedule and I want to make $100,000 a year. Do you know many realtors that are successful with that model? It's very hard, isn't it?
I don't know many realtors with that model that are making 6 figures or better. No, not at all. What we do is a full-time job to do it right. You want to be a full-time investor, you need to look at 100 to 200 deals per deal. You have to be in it every single day. The market's a fluid, moving thing. And even as coaches, if we're not in the investment world, if we're not in the sales world, if we're not keeping our fingers somewhat on the pulse, we lose it. I can't even imagine a part-time realtor or a part-time investor staying on top of all of that. But this is what we've done for hundreds of years, and there's still so much coming at us. So yeah, I don't recommend that. However, you have to pay the bills as a part-time realtor. So you have, if it's a transition into real estate, Mike, we can do it. Plan on 15 to 17 hours a day with your regular job and real estate to make this transition work.
Yep.
Right. Let's have a plan. Let's see the execution. Let's work our face off. It's doable, but it's hard work. It's hard work, and you have to be dedicated to the process.
Our
right?
lead coach, Tom Ferry.
Excuse me?
I think our lead coach, Tom Ferry, said the most successful agents are single mothers. They have a strong why.
Yeah.
They go out there and crush it. So they might have 3 jobs, their job, the mothering, and they're starting in real estate, and they kill it.
So Mike, Gilda in Huntington Beach, probably 25 years ago, I was brand new, trying to figure it all out. But I will never forget, my mentor and I talked her into, she was going through a divorce. She had 5 little ones and a big red wagon. And we got her farming with those kids in that red wagon, going door to door, and made a great career for herself. Single mothers, you don't lose when you're a single mom. This is how it works. You do whatever it takes. And whether that's the I don't live in this country, I wasn't born here. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. Immigrant mentality, or the single mother mentality, right? That back against the wall mentality. That's really what we either need to have or recreate for somebody to be real successful, moving from a part-time to a full-time.
There's 5,000 of us at Summit with our head coach, Tom Ferry, in Vegas, California last year, front row. And I met Gianni Gorecki next to us, who's back of the bus. And she stood up in front of 5,000 and says, I'm not fluent in English and I'm insecure. And our head coach, he's loving and he's awesome, but he wouldn't take it. He's like, I'm going to dare you. He's like, this is what you do. You're going to see tremendous result before the end of the year. So 1, you get tremendous results. And 2, if you do it, I'm going to wire $10,000 into your bank account. She's killing it right so yeah, good coaching.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Brittney, anything you want to say? I have an awesome story I'd like to wrap it up with if you.
No, I don't have anything to add based on, so go ahead and share. What
I just
story?
want to thank you guys. The one story I love, and I repeat this all of the time to people I know that I'm helping out with mentoring and people asking about coaching. I don't remember her name, but it was a Tom Ferry student. And she was, I think we were in Vegas and there's 5,000 of us. She was called up on stage and she was one of those killers. Like she ended up making like $1 million in the last year. Just outstanding results. She's cheering and she's laughing. I think she's about 70 years old. And Tom Ferry's, you ever made this much money? No. Are you happy? I'm so happy. You killer. Yeah. He was like, well, where were you like last March, March 2 at 2 p.m. And you could have heard a pin drop. And she said she was in a rocking chair. Remember, I don't know if you remember the story. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. She had a pistol in her hand. She was about to shoot herself.
Oh, Linda Durea, if I'm saying it right. Linda.
I don't know why I'm whispering. She's in front of 5,000 people. So it's public. No, but yeah, she's about to kill herself. And so Tom said she decided instead of killing herself, she called up Tom Ferry. And Tom Ferry was like, what's going on? And she goes, my husband, he cannot take care of himself anymore. We're broke. I can't keep up with the mortgage payments. I can't keep up with the medical bills. I'm failing as a realtor and I'm about to blow my head off. And he's like, I'm going to personally coach you.
Yeah.
So a year later,
everything around.
She bought a new house for herself. He was in full-time care and coaching.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for all you do for us, allowing me to serve my clients to a higher level.
Absolutely.
So proud of you and your growth, brother. Keep it up. Your clients are lucky to have you. Absolutely. Thank you for having us, Mike.
Yes, thank you so much.
Guys. See ya.
All right. Have a good one. Bye, Britt.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.